واللباحي سقد الليل كدعي somaliland qarannimadeeda ay dib uga soo noqotay taasoo muddo dheer marnay marka waxaa caawan halkan ku dabaaldegaynaa sanadkii أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما بالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عليم
gentlemen, fellow Somalilanders, I welcome you to this prestigious occasion to mark the 21st Independence Day celebration of Somaliland. Even though Somaliland is not internationally recognized, by its own efforts and determination, Somaliland functions as a nation, peaceful, stable, and democratic. It is marked around the world annually on the 18th of May. This year marks the 21st anniversary, and we are happy that there is such an impressive Somaliland community to observe this occasion in Johannesburg. Welcome again, and I hope you all enjoy the program we have lined up for you, and join us for dinner after the event has followed. To start us off, we have our first speaker, Hamid Shah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. نقول الله كرس كتيرنا إن ما كذا هذا حفلة لسوي تجربة سوماليا ونراتنا استري somaliland من الشعب سودان. marka ugu horeysa xafladan caawa joogno oo ah ka soo wareegtay maalintii somaliland ay gobolihiisu taagtay taas oo sanad kasta waktigan oo kale la xuso ku beegan sideed soo kamid taas oo laga xuso meelo badan oo caalamka ka mid ah oo South Africa inuu ku jiro shaaliyaduna sanad kasta ay ku xusto farxad iyo soo dhaweyn iyo maaragtay isbarasho iyo isdhexgal maanta laga helo oo dad badan oo inta badan aan isarkin maanta marka ugu horeysa haddaan ka hadlo shaaliyadda iyo waqtigii la asaasay wala ragii asaasay caawaro badan waa rumaan shaaliyadda waxaa la asaasay istaag kolle waa raggii soo gaarsiiyey heerka ay maanta taagan tahay haddaan maalintii waa asaasi lahayna waxaan malaynaynaa heerka ama habeenka cawaarka la soo yimaadeen wax kastana qofun baa bilaaba dadka intooda badan la sii wada nimageli baa ugaarsiiyey 2002 April ee jaaliyadda la asaasay haddana khamdanaysan maaragtay taariikhda ku hayo waxaa soo maray dhowr guddoomiye ugu horey sheekh cali haweenkiisu garaad ahaa وحين وكانت الله أما خيام وها حتى شغالي كعسى كحيان الدنيا سواها كحيان حتى وحصل معي الدنيا كيما في أحد جامع عمر يوم مختار شارع والدنيا كحيان سواها يوم الدنيا عاود مرتاجة يوه meesha adiga inuu taaganaado iyo kuxigeenkayga Mustafa Barkadosna taas oo gudoomiyeen iyo ku-xigeenno iyo xoghaynno iyo afhayeenno ay jaaliyadda ku soo martay heerar badan iyo caqabado badan oo soo gudbisay maantana waxay u muuqataa mid midhanaa mid halkii markii hore ay taagneed kor uga sii socota maadaama oo ay waxyaabo badan oo aan horey lagu arki jirin ama lagu soo kordhin jirin aynu soo kordhin waxqabadka jaaliyadda iyo waxyaabaha ay qabato kolley waxaan malaynayaa waa laga wada dharagsan yahay ciddii u baahanna xafiiskay ugu iman kartaa in walba waa loo sheegi karaa waana la siin karaa information intaa haddaan kaga gudbo jaaliyadda iyo waxqabadkeeda iyo heerarkii ay soo martay haddana waxaan isku dayayaa bal inaan xafladdan aynu caawa u dabaaldegayno macnaheedu wuxuu yahay aynu isu sheegno ama aynu ogaano bal halkay markii hore ka timi iyo halkay ku socoto iyo halkay maaragtay gaari doonto oo taana ilaahay ogyahay laakiin taala waxa weeye maanta sideed tobanka May loo dabaaldegay maalin kasta meelo badan looga dabaaldegaa oo cusubaa ma wax maaragtay hore usoo jirinaa ma wax maaragtay inta badan soo dhacaya. I would like to speak English introduction of Somaliland. Before and after 1960. First of all, Somaliland is about the size of England and Wales with the area of 137,600 kilometers. Somaliland is supported by Ethiopia in the south and west, Djibouti in the northwest, and Gulf of Aden in the north, and the east region of Somalia. Somaliland history before 1960. The Republic of Somaliland, known as Somaliland, protected under the British rule from 1984 until June 1960, when Somaliland got its independence from the Britain. Only July 1, 1960, Somaliland united to former Italian Somalia to form the Somali Republic. The union did not work according to the aspiration of the people until led to civil war 1980 until 1991, when the reinstated Somaliland. Somaliland history from 1991. Beginning of the restoration of Somaliland state in 1991, Somaliland has been working hard to improve the international community stability to bring about structure and policy of the modern state. Somaliland gives priority to peace and security that enjoy their people, their population. Somaliland government held free and fair referendum in 2001. The Somaliland people voted the independence of Somaliland with the absolute majority of 97%. Please, please. Somaliland has been holding three different leadership. Firstly, Abdurrahman Ahmed Ali, who established Somaliland and became, after 18 May, the first president of Somaliland. Secondly, Mohammed Haji Ibrahim Ilam was appointed as Abdurrahman who succeeded in 1993 by the Conference of National Reconciliation in Bordeaux. Remained in power until his death on May 3, 2002 in Pretoria, South Africa. Thirdly, Tahir Riyad Kahin was first president and sworn as a president shortly regardless. In 2003, Kahin became the first elected president of Somalia and remained in power until June 2010, last president election. The winner of the election, Mr. Ahmed Mohamed Mahmoud Silayo, became fourth president of Somaliland since running in 1992. Politics system and the government. Somaliland as a republic of form of government is two houses, consists of the House of Congress called Gucci and the House of Representative Wakilo. Each house has 292 members. The eldest house solves interconflict, and that's why Somaliland different South Somalia or other parts of Somalia. Elders shares power in passing law with the House of Representatives. Members of the House are directly elected by the people for 5-year terms. Somaliland has 3 political parties. The United People Democratic Party called UDUP, and the Peace, Unity and Development Party called MEA, and the Justice and Development Party WILI. The current President of the Republic is Ahmed Mohamed Sinai, and the Vice President is Abdurrahman Abdullahi Sayyid of Kulmiya Party, who were elected on June 2010 for 5-year term. Foreign relations. Somaliland has a political contact with its neighbor Ethiopia and Djibouti, as well as with Belgium, France, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, Sweden, USA, and the UK. Also has a contact with the Yemen, or called Arab country, Kuwait, Dubai, and Arab states. Somaliland politics contact has been increasing after successful last president elections held on June 2010. And come to the power, the new government. The government, together with the non-state actors, the diaspora, and other friends of Somaliland, was organized an international conference in July in Hargeisa to recognize issue, influent international personality in media, international law, and development who are friends of Somaliland was attending this conference. Somaliland economic is a developing state as the region itself. Somaliland shilling, while stable, is not an internationally recognized currency. The main national resource of the government is revenue, trade in livestock, sheep, goats, camels, cattle, to Saudi Arabia and Gulf states. Somaliland has a mining and gas. Somaliland has a lot of mines that confirm the deposit of oil, gas, Epsom, lime, maize, water, coal, and gold and silver, and open international investors. Elections. Somaliland held free and fair democratic elections starting in the 2002 municipal election, 2003 president election, 2005 parliamentary election, and last successful election and second presidential election, 2010. This process has strengthened the democratic institution and policy of the modern state and reduced the negative perception of international community they believe of Somalia. Somaliland waxaan kaloo aan halka u danfaya dhammaan intii kasoo qaybgashay intii kasoo shaqaysay intii kasoo qayb qaadatay intii naftimaan kusoo hortay inay xafladda qabsanto aad iyo aad baan mahadsantihiin. waxaan kaloo aad iyo aad u mahadnaqayaa profesorkayga jaamacadda oo runtii aad iyo aad inoola soo qayb galay kana hadlay topic wanaagsan oo taariikh ministry u noqonaya Somaliland oo runtii wax kuwo ama aynu ugu hayno ama iyo asxaabta kale meesha fadhida aad iyo aad baan mahadsantihiin. Asalaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatu.
who has a MA degree from the University of Victoria, as well as a PhD from the University of Cambridge. He has made major contributions in the fields of political science and work with crimes against humanity. Young Coordinator.
Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I'm greatly honored to be invited to be present at this particular occasion, and allow me to congratulate Somaliland on its 21st birthday. When a person turns 21, he or she comes of age, as they say. So it's no mean achievement for Somaliland, and my best wishes for at least the next 21 years. My topic, given the occasion, is perhaps a bit of an awkward one. This should be a celebration, but the topic that I will address is why is the international community so nasty to Somaliland? I'm not going to give you the full answer, but I'm going to try to outline why the predicament that Somaliland finds itself in. Now, the fact is the international community is unkind to Somaliland. It refuses to recognize Somaliland's claim to independent statehood, and the United Nations, which is in a sense the embodiment of the international community, refuses to admit Somaliland as a member. And by doing that, the United Nations is actually denying Somaliland the birth certificate of a state. And the result, therefore, is, as you all know so well, that since independence in 1991, Somaliland has been ostracized. It is living, if you like, on the margins, on the periphery of the world society of states. Now, the main message that I want to bring tonight, and this might be scant consolation for you, is that Somaliland is not the only state finding itself in this position of what I call international limbo. Limbo simply means an unpleasant situation. There are today 10 states finding themselves in a comparable situation. Apart from Somaliland, there are the 4 so-called Eurasian states. You may have heard of them: Abkhazia, Transnistria, Nagorno-Karabakh, and South Ossetia. They're all on territories of the former Soviet Union. They all aspire to independent statehood, but their claims are rejected internationally. Then there's Western Sahara, also an aspiring state not recognized by the United Nations as such. I would also include Palestine on my list, as well as Northern Cyprus, Kosovo, and Taiwan. Now, what all 10 these territories have in common is that they do not get the international recognition they desire and to which they believe they're entitled. So they all have a recognition deficit, a recognition shortcoming, but it varies. And unfortunately for Somaliland, it is in the worst position of them all, in that it is not recognized by a single existing state. Why then is the international community, acting through the United Nations, so nasty to these 10 what I will call contested states? There's not a single answer that I think is equally applicable to all 10 of these entities. But in broad terms, I would argue that the problem for them lies in their origins. So we have to look at how were they born. In 7 of the 10 cases, The international community regards their births as illegitimate. This is the term that is often associated, or was associated, with children born out of wedlock. They were considered illegitimate children. Perhaps that is less of a problem now in many societies than previously. Now, why are 7 of these 10 entities, including Somaliland, considered illegitimate by the international community? And the reason is they are seen as products of secession. And what is secession? It is a unilateral move on the part of a region in an existing state to set up its own state against the wishes or without the consent of the existing state. So such an entity would typically opt for a UDI, that acronym stands for a unilateral declaration of independence. This happened to Northern Cyprus in 1983, Kosovo for the first time in 1991 and again in 2008, and South Ossetia in 1992. Our own country went through that process in 1991 by declaring itself unilaterally independent of Somalia. However, one must immediately add, and I'm sure you would want to correct me if I didn't mention this to you, is that what Somaliland went through and what makes its case rather unique among the 10 contested states is that it was a combination of secession and reversion. Breakaway from Somalia, or the remainder of Somalia, and a return to an earlier status of independent statehood. That was, of course, a very brief period of 5 days of independence in 1960, before Somaliland, British Somaliland, and former French Somaliland joined forces in a union called the Somali Republic. However, I'm afraid that the international community seems to emphasize the secessionist element of Somaliland's origin. They may ask, well, what's the problem with secession? Why doesn't the international community approve of secession, or does so only very rarely? One reason is that secession, by definition, occurs, as I've said, against the wishes of the original state. And therefore, the original state typically resists, often through the use of armed force. Take the case of Britain trying to exit the Congo in 1960. Take the case of Biafra trying to break away from Algeria in 1967. Take the case of Chechnya trying to break away from Russia in the 1990s. Each time a unilateral act resisted by the original state. So I'm arguing one of the reasons why secession is so unpopular for the international community is because it is more often than not accompanied by violence. In international law, there's a presumption against secession. So international law does not provide for an unqualified right to secession. Not at all. It qualifies the right very severely. There has to be at least 2 conditions. One, the group wanting to break away must experience severe denial of human rights, severe oppression. And secondly, the people of that particular region and group are excluded from the political, social, and economic life of the country as a whole. Then one could make a case for so-called remedial secession. So against this background, the bad news I think for Somaliland is that there have been relatively few successful secessions, by which I mean that eventually, in time, the secessionists managed to establish a state that gets international recognition. It has indeed happened, as in Eritrea, Bangladesh, East Timor, South Sudan, former Yugoslavia. And then the final reason why secession is so unpopular is because of the fear. And I would suggest the overblown, exaggerated fear of a concentration effect. And I'm sure that Somaliland is a second-purpose party in Africa. That if some regions of some existing states are allowed to go their own way, they will be able to and then we hear horror stories that Africa will then not be left with 54 states as present, but with 500. And they would be unviable, they would be squattering states, they will plunge the continent into continuous anarchy. So that's the fear of the demonstration effect of permitting secession or regions or existing states to break away. And I should.
طبعا نفسي على يوم عقارك وأبوها عمرتي عندهم وعندهم عود في نصوصي كل عام يسمين يا أبو صوت أتباني دي صامت
Kalau soal capai, bolehlah, bolehlah. Wah, soal apa? Assalamualaikum. Waalaikumsalam. 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 Alhamdulillah. Baik.
ورجع هذا يروح جالس يوم جالس هذا
أروح بقرني يا بيور أنا تبغى تقول قال فوق بقرني يا بيور
وحبيبتي
والله كيف كيف
السومالي
ها سويت
والله وراح يبقى هاي وراح كور وضعي كور انه مدور انه يسمعوا بعض ان شاء الله يعني النور وضعي في موضوع
والله هو ما يعرف يا نفس الدوية والله الموضوع خلاص
يور ما تمركز يور في يور نفط الحد وكذا يور يبرد وضعي يور
وأنا دون سؤالي إسلامي وأنا نفترض وأنا سنين وحبي معايا وقت يصير يدور رئيسه مش الله بس لو سوقي يحيى يقول
وحتى الوضع في موضوع إنه على وضع يود في